In Money Matters, the local index will be hoping to stage a rebound today, recovering from yesterday's weakness. The JSE tracked weaker global markets on Tuesday as investors awaited earnings reports from big tech in the US and economic data. The rand also slipped against the dollar as the central bank warned that core inflation in the country remained elevated. Zwelakhe Mnguni is the Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers. He joins us now for the latest market moves. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Mnguni, sir, this afternoon. So give us an overview of how the markets are faring so far at midday trade.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think, as you said, our market's flattish. I think in some sectors there is a bit of pressure in the industrial space, in particular, about 0.5% down. The mining sector is also flat or marginally up, and the real estate sector is up about 1%. I think, as you said, the big backdrop is that global markets were under pressure yesterday. The US was down 1.6%, Nasdaq was down 2%. So that backdrop is influenced by the economic outlook. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty out there in the market as to whether we are going to end up in a recession or not, and I think that's driving the volatility in the market.
Oil prices are up amid a sharp fall in U.S. inventories exceeding expectations for a 1.7 million barrel decline. Talk us through the moves, and will we see this being translated in petrol prices?
Yeah, I think in the short term, probably, if I start with your last question, I don't think in the short term we need to panic about the price increases in oil. I think it has to be sustained for a little while before it could feed through into the oil price, into the petrol price. But I think what is driving that oil price is essentially there's a lot of uncertainty. When the OPEC announced that they were cutting production, the price spiked and slowly started to decline on the back of recession fears. And we are seeing now that the news from the US about the inventory levels have also helped it to pick up a bit. But I don't think it's a major move. We're still around the 80 mark. So, yeah, I don't think we need to panic about it. I think the 80 mark is what is baked into the numbers in the petrol price today.
Stats SA has published the producer price index for March. Help us make sense of the data.
Yeah, it was up strongly. I think it's still just under 11%. Slightly better than what we saw in Feb, around 12%. But there's certainly been a lot of pressure in many areas. So areas like food products and beverage and tobacco have seen quite elevated inflation. Transport equipment was also quite elevated. So I think we still seeing that the producers are passing on the cost of inflation that has been building up in the system for the last 12 months.
Let's take a look at this item. The Competition Tribunal, is scrutinizing Sasol's sodium iodine assets deal with Zwelakhe. What do we know about this development?
Yeah, so Sasol is, as you know, for the last few years, has been in the process of restructuring its operations locally and offshore. And one of the operations that we're looking to exit was the sodium cyanide business. Essentially, it's the chemical that is used to extract gold, metal from the gold ores and silver. So it's quite a material chemical in the production of gold. So what Sasol is looking to do is to sell this to Zwelakhe, a company from the Czech Republic. And the Competition Commission is concerned that if you have such a highly concentrated supply in the hands of one company, that would create the ability for that company to basically overcharge customers because there's no competition. So they are pushing back on that, and Sasol seems to be also betting hard to try and say it must go through, it won't have that impact. They were the only main local supplier. But I think to some extent, I side with the Competition Commission in that it might have material impact in terms of the pricing of cyanide to the mining companies.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. This time, British American Tobacco has agreed to pay almost $12 billion to authorities to resolve investigations into their activities in North Korea. What's going on?
Yeah, I think it's not surprising. These companies, the tobacco companies, have been caught up in many litigation cases where people are either suing them for causing diseases or things like lung cancer, and they've settled for a number of countries, and I think South Korea is probably the latest where they'll pay that amount. I don't think it's a breaker. I mean, they've got quite adequate resources in the bank account to be able to handle this. It's a massive company, but certainly, hopefully, it takes away the overhang of being under litigation by a big sovereign country.
Zwelakhe Mnguni, Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers. Thank you very much for your time.